Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN Monday night, December 29, 2008. Our last show of the year. Damian Nelson here alongside the man they call Meathead and the Cause, Frank Cosentino. We'd like to say thank you to all of you for waiting until the end of that football game for the delayed edition of the Pro Wrestling Report here. But we've got a solid hour that we're going to give you, and we've got a lot to talk about this week, including we're going to announce our Star of 2008 from both WWE and TNA. We also have our best moment of 2008. Big news update on Chyna and her recent hospitalization, reviews of this week's Wrestling TV, and our thoughts on the WWE sign policy and the controversy surrounding it. As I said, this is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. You can join us and call in with your questions or comments. The number, 276-ESPN. Again, that's 276-ESPN here in southeastern Wisconsin, or all over the world or nationally at 1-800-990-ESPN. Again, that's 1-800-990-ESPN. Also streaming at the Pro Wrestling Report website at PWRshow.com. Open right now is the PWR Chatmosphere, where you can join and talk with us live as Meathead runs the Chatmosphere at PWRshow.com. Frank is back. Frank, it's been about a minute. I think last time you were here, I was not. I was at Bill's Gambling Hall in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yes. And I did get a phone call from you just to say hi.
Apparently, I drunk dialed you. But anyways, thank you so much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Let's first talk about the Raw that went off the air just a little while ago. We saw some progression towards the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, and what many people say was a solid Raw. I would say a lot more good wrestling, much like last week's Raw, and solid build to that Royal Rumble pay-per-view. I continue to be very intrigued by the angle between JBL and the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, especially with that ending to the four-way match to determine the number one contender. And as we saw, it is JBL, the wrestling god, going to the Royal Rumble in the main against John Cena for the World Heavyweight Championship. Meathead and Frank, your thoughts on tonight's Raw?
I liked it. I liked the tension. It was a little bit longer of an overrun. Normally about 5 minutes after the hour, you're kind of looking, okay, when are they going to end this? They win an extra 5 minutes. I like the overrun. It's an angle that unless you guys can tell me wrong, I haven't seen an angle like this. And credit Shawn Michaels, who's been doing this for a long time. It worked. The crowd ate it up. I liked the ending.
You mean Shawn Michaels, who doesn't lay down for anybody?
Well, in this case, he took a clothesline, so he technically did lay down, but at least he didn't just lay down with a quick pin. I liked it. I like where it's going. I just like how the crowd is eating up on it. And I don't know if there'd be another wrestler that could pull it off besides Shawn Michaels because of his longevity. So I like the ending of it and how it's going to end up at Royal Rumble.
Meathead, your thoughts? WWE Raw tonight.
On what?
Moving on.
No, come on.
We don't have time for that
this week.
Time. We got 56 minutes remaining.
We've got time.
We need to think to do time remaining announcements here in this show.
We have 56
or
minutes
Pat Patterson.
remaining.
Just a reminder. This is a no time limit.
My head's all in different spots. I'm in the chat-osphere. Don't stole my name.
Can you make a resolution for 2009 to start referring to the chat-mosphere by its real name?
You don't say Chris-O-mus. How do you know? That's true. No, chat-osphere.
He says rest of us.
Yeah, yes. Best of us for the rest of us. But again, I had a great week. Everything else has been good.
What made your week so great?
I don't want to disappoint all the female listeners that we have.
Some of them are going to jump off bridges.
I don't want to disappoint them, Damien, but Meathead got engaged.
Engaged to what? Engaged in a fight which caused you to go to jail? Engaged in some
it's tomfoolery.
Working girls, and engaged in what?
I found a very beautiful woman that is willing to tolerate Meathead on a daily basis, and she said yes. So Meathead is going to be a husband.
They say there's one out there.
She gets around.
They say there's one out there for everybody.
No.
Apparently, congratulations to them. They call me Meathead.
She will be now known as Mrs. Head.
I'm not sure that's actually a good thing to be calling.
Oh, no, it's okay. Well, we're going to have to say the woman they call Mrs. Head.
There you go.
And we're not talking Christina Head from Fox 6 here in Milwaukee.
Congratulations, Meathead. Let's talk about Raw last week. Remember, we were on Sunday last week, and we saw a big return. Trish Stratus, one night only in the ring. Speaking of Mrs. Head, one night only in the ring, in the main, teaming up with John Cena against Santina Morella.
And was happy to see her, too, apparently.
I can't believe, first off, that was a thread in the forum at PWRshow.com.
It got deleted.
But
by the way, Meathead deleted that thread.
Frank, your thoughts on Trish Stratus, one night only? Still looking good. It was time to rock and roll.
She looks good. Obviously, the fans made it kind of awkward where they were still kind of over-booing Cena, and he tried his best, and Trish tried her best. They're like, hey, I'm in Canada. Remember, guys? Jump, 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 jump. They gave it a shot.
Jump, 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 jump.
But
Frank's been watching the Badgers again.
That's right. They were doing the jump around. But
what about that other chant they do at Badgers games? You know, one side of the arena and then the other side.
Yeah. I thought she looked good, but whether she wants to maybe get back in the ring, it's
a one-off thing. I mean, they were in Toronto. It makes
sense.
Yeah.
It made sense. I thought she looked good. I thought it worked. Obviously, there's that crowd that didn't boo Cena for the heck of it, and it kind of became awkward. But I thought she did well. Took a couple bumps too.
Last week, as we referenced last week's Pro Wrestling Report here on 540 ESPN, we were talking about the definition of wrestling, definition of professional wrestling. Frank not able to be included in that conversation, but we had a video update at PWRshow.com talking about wrestling and the fact that, in my opinion, that Ring of Honor had the best professional wrestling out there today. Well, that sparked a sea of controversy, a lot of people talking about what is professional wrestling, because everyone, of course, says, Frank, that WWE has the best professional wrestling out there today. I don't believe that to be the case. But it all boils down to the definition of professional wrestling. So now we give you, Frank, the opportunity to talk to the fans all over the world. And what is, in your opinion, the man, the myth, the legend, the legendary, the elder statesman of the show?
As Damien and I turn our microphones off and give Frank
I
sole
never
control.
turn my mic on.
No. Sole control, because it's been said on this show that Frank does not get enough chance to speak. Frank will now speak on his own.
Frank doesn't take enough chances. You got to take it. You got to drive like you're driving in Chicago on this show.
Yeah, drive it like you stole it. Damien. Once again, Meathead, the black member of the panel. Damien and Meathead will let Frank tell you what he thinks wrestling is.
You know, this is funny because every 10 years you can ask for a definition and it'd be different. Because 25 years ago, professional wrestling was match style. You had villain versus hero, and you got a winner, and that was it. Today's professional wrestling, I put it into a male soap opera. That's how I define it as. I'm looking for three things. I'm looking for the wow factor, I'm looking to be entertained, and I want a storyline involved. But I'm also old school, so it's actually four things. So I'm looking for actual mat wrestling. But what you'll never see, besides Mat Classic, is, actual, okay, we're going to get this guy in an arm bar, we're going to kind of sit around. It doesn't happen anymore. So the actual definition of it, to me, it sounds foolish, is it's a male's soap opera. That it's what we look for. We're looking for a storyline that's going to keep us going, and then the wrestling comes second into it, because okay, who's the heel, who's the face, and how does it work? And that's how I kind of define it as. It's your entertainment. But 25 years ago, it would have been totally different, because it was the wrestling first and then the storyline second, because you wanted to see the Hulk Hogan's and in matches and stuff like that. So it's to me it's changed, and I think it may change 10 or 15 years from now. But that's my definition, and I'm sticking to it.
And Frank, you talk about, it depends on when you ask. It depends on when you're talking about what defines wrestling. You grew up, as we say, you're the elder statesman here.
Yeah.
Going down to the Mecca Arena,
Frank Costantino,
where the AWA was very prevalent here in Wisconsin, here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and they had some great shows down there at the Mecca Arena, now known as the U.S. Cellular Arena, I believe. And that was a completely different era, and it's similar to what I said last week. I grew up in the 80s, where professional wrestling was all about the wrestling matches, and then there was comedy and bits. You had the Brother Love show, the Snake Pit. You had all those things going on, but a lot of people nowadays who watch wrestling grew up during the Attitude Era. This is no different from what a lot of us wrestling purists, I guess, which I don't really want to say, but that's the closest thing. A lot of us wrestling purists liken it to, but I have long said that professional wrestling is indeed it's a soap opera. And it's what a lot of people have said, that it is a soap opera and an entertainment program, specifically what WWE has said. And one of my favorite shows was Melrose Place. And I've long said that WWE wrestling because at the time it was really only WWE, was Melrose Place, but with fighting. Because you need those storylines, you need the drama, you need the engagement from the fans to participate in the show. Otherwise, we
what
got
happened
nothing.
to Andrew Shue?
Billy?
He played soccer, didn't he?
No, what happened to him after Melrose Place?
I don't know. Maybe he teamed up with Joyce.
You know, Elizabeth Shue was naked in Cocktail.
Anybody watch this Desperate Housewives? I have never
I've
seen
heard
an
of the
episode,
show.
by the way, but
I don't watch that.
they've got a ton of Melrose alum on that show.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's a soap opera.
It is.
And that's what draws people in. But what I was talking about is wrestling. And my definition of wrestling, much like yours, Frank, much like Meathead's was last week, is in-ring grappling. It's the story that drives you into it, but you can tell those stories in the ring, and
Yes, you
those
can.
days are gone.
Now, I'm going to piss off a lot of people here, and I don't care.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Remember, controversy creates cash. Unless you're JR, cash creates controversy.
25, 30 years ago, and being old school, you go to a match. I've said this before, so if I repeat it, I apologize. Mad Dog Vachon here in the AWA would just grab a chair, and the crowd would go nuts. He didn't need to hit anybody, but holy cow, he's grabbing a chair. So I'm going to piss off people, and this is what upset me. ECW ruined the I'm missing the word.
It's
the hardcore element? Frank?
Right.
It took the veil off wrestling.
Exactly. Because at first it was like, oh, my God, look what he's doing. And then, from the Lance Storms and those guys, and credit them, I mean, those guys, gave their heart and soul. But to hit a guy over the head with a chair 20, 30 times over took the realism, in quotes, out of the wrestling of what we see today. Now a guy gets hit with a chair once. Well, wait a minute. 3 weeks ago, he got hit 15 times and he got up. Well, he's a hardcore guy. No, we all got the same head. You take a chair shot in real life, and it's going to knock you out a little bit. You take it 15 times, and you just don't get up. It took the realism out of it. So now we're at a point where that the definition of wrestling, the pushing the envelope is gone.
There is no envelope. But occasionally, I mean, and still, we talked about it many a time. You rarely get surprised in professional wrestling anymore because, the Internet ruined wrestling, in my opinion. But, without the Internet, we probably wouldn't be where we are. But be that as it may, that once that veil was taken off, wrestling had to be recreated. And remember, I believe it was in 1997, this man came on Raw and said, we're going to change the business. We're going to provide you with not good guy versus bad, not good versus evil. We're going to provide you with entertainment that is going to be different from what you've seen. I think that video is actually at the PWR website in the videos section, if you can check it out there. But wrestling has changed dramatically. And when I talk about wrestling purists, Jim Cornette is one of those strict wrestling purists. Jim Ross is a bit of a wrestling purist as well. You wouldn't know it because of the way he's coached at this point in time, but he's still allowed to say a lot of things that a lot of other people probably don't get to say, such as Michael Cole and Todd Grisham, obviously. But let's go to the phones. We've got Ruben from Ontario, Canada, calling in here on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. Remember, you can join us on the phone lines, the number 276-ESPN or 1-800-990-ESPN. Also, the Chatmosphere at PWRshow.com. Ruben, you are live on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. Ruben!
Hello.
How are you, man?
I'm doing good. I just want to say how I agree 100% on Frank and Damian on two factors. That, yes, ECW and the Internet both killed professional wrestling. Why? Because ECW did take away that prestige, pure wrestling, and hardcore matches that what made wrestling different, while the Internet, well, how can I say this? YouTube shooters.
What's a YouTube shooter? No, I'm serious. I've heard of them before, but, I mean, honestly, I don't pay attention to that stuff. I'm joking with you, Ruben. Don't go anywhere.
Don't go there, man.
Well, anyway, because YouTube shooters, mainly, they put that backstage drama and all that crap into bringing what made wrestling entertaining. They just want to, if anything doesn't go their way, they just say, oh, it's because of Triple H. Oh, it's because of the Motor City got buried again.
And then that snowballs across the Internet, the interweb, the IWC,
correct. And
it becomes some story that's not even related to anything true. Because here's one thing we've talked about for years. We've been on television for 10 years during this show. We know a thing or two. And here's what we said for years is whenever you hear Vince McMahon said, Jeff Jarrett said, or that there are rumors going around that this person, if there's not a credible source that was in the room or in the area when it was said, we don't even talk about it. And that's when a lot of the speculation starts from out there, such as, the latest obscene story, in my opinion, is that Kurt Angle is going back to WWE. Never say never in the wrestling world, but I just don't believe that to be a fact, because Kurt Angle stood right here in this very studio, by the way, and we talked about his blood, sweat, and tears that he's poured out for TNA and where he wants to see the company go. This is not a man who wants to go anywhere else. Remember the reasons he left WWE as well. We won't get into that too much. But, Ruben, your point is valid that a lot of this stuff on the Internet, it needs to be controlled and funneled, I guess you'll say. And there are only certain sites out there that I consider to be reputable. And a lot of them are, and a lot of them do have sources that they will not cite or whatever. And we got pinched for saying at one point that there's a lot of news that comes across, whether it be my cell phone or the emails or whatever, that we don't even report on. I mean, when someone tells us something in confidence, we simply don't repeat it. And I think that's a trust that, as journalists, you have to have, and something that we pride ourselves on here. But anyways, Ruben, one last point before we let you go here on the Pro Wrestling Report at 540 ESPN.
Yes, I just want to say, for those of these people who say that everything needs to be ROH, everything has to be that pure, hardcore stuff that ROH provides, I say let ROH be ROH, let TNA be TNA, and let WWE be WWE. Forget all this. Everything has to be this and everything has to be that. That's the problem with the Internet fans, and that's the problem that we need to change. We need to stop having these people go around saying that wrestling should be Ring of Honor. Everything.
What is Ring of Honor? Is there any Ring of Honor in here?
Ruben, thank you so much for an excellent closing point there. Let's go now to another caller. We've got Matt from the site of WrestleMania 25, Houston, Texas. Matt, you are on the Pro Wrestling Report here on 540 ESPN.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How are y'all doing tonight?
What's up, Matt?
Couldn't be better.
How you living in Houston?
It's pretty good, man. It's actually getting kind of cold here.
Wait. I just watched King of the Hill today, and on King of the Hill, they freaked out when a snowflake hit them in the face. Are you guys like that down in Houston when you see a snowflake? Does the city shut down?
Yeah, pretty much. It's a rare occasion when snow comes. I mean, we just had snow about a month ago.
Yeah, because for the month of December here up in the Milwaukee area, we had probably about 5 feet.
Oh, Matt, yeah, well, we probably had about half an inch, honestly. That'd have even stuck.
That's more like meathead style. Matt, what do you have for us?
Whoa, hey now.
I just want to talk about the definition of wrestling, and I have to agree with the majority. You don't particularly have to favor a particular organization. It's just that each organization provides a different meaning to other people. I mean, if you want to watch pure wrestling at its finest, watch Ring of Honor. And, I mean, I have to agree, Ring of Honor is the best pure wrestling out there today. But if you want to watch, sports entertainment, an organization with very good presentation, by far watch WWE. I mean, they have probably, presentation and pure.
They've got the whole package. There's no doubt. They've got the whole package.
That's more of what I'm into.
And where a lot of the controversy came from, Matt, and you're saying essentially the same thing that I had said initially, which is Ring of Honor has the best wrestling out there. WWE has the better product overall out there.
Also have marketing dollars.
Oh, and marketing dollars, 40 years of history, if not more.
I've got to kind of lean on something I heard Triple H say. Triple H. He's in the business. And deeply. He's in the business, and he spoke on a couple, we'll say Ring of Honor guys, or we'll say independent guys. How can these guys be considered by, the IWC as the greatest wrestler currently today? These guys aren't selling out 20,000, 50,000 seat arenas.
But can they?
Remember, this is a business. It is a show. It's not a sporting competition where you're going to get the most improved player award, in the Major League Baseball or whatever. This is a show. Now, if your name is marketable, even if you're not an athlete, even if you're not a wrestler, if your name is marketable and you can sell and get people to come in and watch your show, then you got to be
man on the planet.
You got to be considered to be the best in this business. Remember, it's a business, an entertainment business.
Mm-hmm. And I cannot disagree with that because it's a damn shame, honestly, that you have your Nigel McGuinnesses and your Bryan Danielsons in Ring of Honor, but it's only to a limited audience. And so nobody in WWE or a fan of WWE is going to recognize,
they won't want to. I mean,
exactly.
As I said last week as well, and I've said this for a few weeks, WWE fans may not know about TNA and ROH. TNA fans know about WWE, and most of them have heard of ROH. ROH has heard of TNA and WWE. That's what I'm saying. WWE fans, some of them are just WWE fans, but that's because WWE has a mass-reaching, marketability.
At this point, you think wrestling, you think WWE, and for that, I mean, again, that's the WWE marketing power and the fact that name recognition gets you a lot further than actual content a lot of times nowadays. But Matt, we're running short on time here. Do you have anything in closing for us?
Just one more thing. While Ring of Honor has, the best pure wrestling out there, WWE has, the best sports entertainment out there, I believe what TNA has going for them is that they have the best potential
to
be a good organization. I mean,
very well said.
If you look at the roster, excluding ex-WWE workers, I mean, you have AJ Styles, you have Chris Sabin, LAX, Jay Lethal, Jimmy Rave. I mean, you have a good list of athletes there. And if they were just booked right, TNA can be an organization to reckon with.
And as Damien's going to let you go here, just because they're great athletes, it doesn't mean that there's still going to be people that can get over. Again, an athlete or a wrestler isn't necessarily needed to get over.
In today's day and age, you got to be able to talk, you got to be able to present, you got to be.
Jeff Hardy's a great athlete, and he finally got the belt put on him due to circumstances. I think because the product is done, they needed somebody that was over with the fans to get.
It's time to shake things up again.
Yeah, it was time to shake it up.
Do that with CM Punk, though.
And remember, many of those fans or many of those stars in TNA right now, including Evan Bourne in WWE, came from Ring of Honor. So thank you so much for that call from Houston, Matt, I believe it was. We appreciate you taking the time out of your evening to call us. Let's go now to another caller here on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, where you can join us at 1-800-990-ESPN or 276-ESPN here in southeastern Wisconsin. Nathan from San Francisco, California. We can call Nathan the San Francisco treat, huh?
Ew.
No, wait. No. That was not like that. I didn't mean it that way. That meant it was the trolley with the rice-a-roni, ding, ding.
I'm sure they haven't heard
Nathan,
that one.
go ahead.
From the Golden State.
What's going on, guys? How you guys doing?
Doing all right, Nate. What's up?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I just want to, share my thoughts on how professional wrestling is as of right now. The way I feel it is sort of strange. It's different because on one side, TNA, which I think is totally stepping up, like your last caller said, showing a lot of potential with the stars they have. Even though with the ex-stars of WWE, I think that they're stepping up the storylines, their potential and how they are, doing a very good job because they're getting 1.2 ratings, not all the time, but sometime. And they really have stepped up and they should keep on doing what they're doing. But on the WWE, I just feel that things have started to change, and it's just like, Vince McMahon. I mean, he seems like he just doesn't seem to care anymore about what the people want. It's like what Vince said. It's like what McMahon said. It's all about the money. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, Nathan, thank you so much for that call. Another valid point on a hot topic issue, the definition of professional wrestling. And as we talk a lot about Ring of Honor here, we've got a couple more people waiting on the line. As we talk about Ring of Honor here, big news coming out of Ring of Honor. It looks like the announcement of a regular television deal is imminent. Just this past weekend, they were they had some visitors from the HDNet network.
I've got that channel.
Who were at some of the weekend shows from that organization.
Owned by?
What's
the Dallas Mavericks?
Mavericks.
The Cuban.
Mark Cuban.
Who also owns the Palms, the family,
I know.
in Las Vegas.
I know.
They have
not
also
the Stars,
purchased,
Dallas Mavericks.
They've also purchased some new camera equipment, and their pay-per-views are now going to be available on DirecTV starting in January. So two big things for Ring of Honor coming out of the news.
I think that's a good thing because, one, it's high-definition wrestling. Two, HDNet is available on a lot of services. Your cable services, your DirecTVs, and your whatever the AT&T version is.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, and we are going to take a brief timeout. When we come back, we've got more phone calls. We've got big news on what happened to Chyna this past weekend, our best of 2008, our best moments, and our star of 2008, along with all the rest going on in professional wrestling right here on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
This is Michael Red of the Milwaukee Bucks, and you're listening to 540 ESPN.
Planning your transportation for New Year's Eve? When you're out celebrating this holiday season, Miller Coors reminds you to ride the bus on us. Miller Coors invites Milwaukee residents and visitors to ride the bus on us this New Year's Eve. Learn more about Miller Coors Free Rides, a free bus service offered in Milwaukee and Waukesha this New Year's Eve by visiting MillerCoorsFreeRides.com or by calling 1-800-FREE-RIDES. Miller Coors wishes you happy holidays and reminds you to be safe this holiday season.
As most of you know, I'm Bruce from IT. I just wanted to say a few words about the phone system we're laying to rest. Doesn't it look peaceful? We lived with that phone system for a long time. It was a good phone system. Okay, cut the music. I can't do this. Let's be honest, that phone system really stunk. Really? Come on, Ellen, you wanted to dump that system in '98. And Randy, you kept saying, why do we keep throwing money at such an outdated phone system? Didn't you say it was like putting perfume on a skunk?
It's time to put your dated phone system to rest and join the managed IP revolution from TDS, the only hosted voice and data solution with no capital cost. Managed IP will not only increase the productivity of your business, you'll never need to upgrade because we make sure your hardware is always cutting edge and with virtually no upfront costs. Managed IP is truly a no-brainer. Managed IP from TDS. View the demo. Seeing is believing at TDSVOIP.com.
Do you guys want to sing Amazing Grace or something?
When you want to turn bedtime into playtime, Super Video. Super Video 2 and City News and Video has exactly what you need. Stop in for great deals on adult titles. Right now, buy 2 $14.95 DVDs and you'll get 2 free. That's right, free. They also have a wide variety of lingerie for that lady in your life, varying from risque fashions to racy bedroom wear and everything in between. Surprise that special someone with a sensational gift for the both of you. You're sure to find just what you're looking for to heat things up between the sheets. Don't forget, Super Video 2, and City News and Video carry a full line of tobacco accessories, including wood, metal, and color-changing pieces. And they're open late, till 2 a.m. or later. For all your adult entertainment needs, remember to shop Super Video in West Dallas, Super Video 2 in Cudahy, and City News and Video in Waukesha.
Smoking accessories are for tobacco use only. No other use is intended or implied.
Hi, I'm Bob Euchre for the Boucher Automotive Group, and if you're looking for a deal that's Major League every time, come on into Boucher. At Boucher, they ride every mile with you by giving you the best selection at the best price and making your car buying experience easy and enjoyable. Think other dealers offer the same things they do? Think again. At Boucher, many of their certified pre-owned vehicles come with a factory-certified warranty. That also includes Boucher's 12-month, 12,000-mile warranty, so you always have your bases covered. See them online at Boucher.com.
Oh Say Can You Sing is down to 2. Join Homer and our 2 finalists on Friday, January 2nd at Fanatics Sports Central. Maria Waldkirch and Lucy Walker will perform at Fanatics in the Old Third Ward. We encourage you to call, text, or stop by to cast your votes. Votes will be double if you cast them in person. For more information, log on to ESPNMilwaukee.com. The Oh Say Can You Sing contest is brought to you by Marquette Men's Basketball, Fanatics Sports Central, Shepherd Express, MilwaukeeMoms.com, and Milwaukee Sporting Goods.
Planning your transportation for New Year's Eve? When you're out celebrating this holiday season, Miller Coors reminds you to ride the bus on us. Miller Coors invites Milwaukee residents and visitors to ride the bus on us this New Year's Eve. Learn more about Miller Coors Free Rides, a free bus service offered in Milwaukee and Waukesha this New Year's Eve by visiting MillerCoorsFreeRides.com or by calling 1-800-FREE-RIDES. Miller Coors wishes you happy holidays and reminds you to be safe this holiday season.
Weekdays at 2, it's the world's greatest sports talk show.
Joined by Bruce Pearl. I should say Tennessee coach Bruce Pearl, but you're just Bruce Pearl to everybody in Wisconsin. How does everything you've done before you got to Tennessee, how is it transferred?
I think the biggest change is recruiting. I used to have to go after guys that were underneath Wisconsin's radar, Marquette's radar, the guys that maybe they should have, could have on, and now I'm going after a little better talent.
I don't have as many Bruce Pearl stories as Bill Johnson, but the first time we talked, we were talking about clipping coupons to buy cereal. I don't believe Bruce Pearl's clipping coupons. In fact, I worry for you if you are.
Wait a second. Listen now. I'm 48 years old, okay? I was poor for 45 years, and I've been rich for 3. And this rich stuff is really good, okay? Really good. All I'm trying to do is keep a job.
The world's greatest sports talk show with Homer. Weekdays at 2 on 540 ESPN.
This is the Miller High Life Delivery Guy, and you listen to Good Honest Sports Talk on 540 ESPN.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. Damian Nelson, the man they call Meathead, and the Cause, live here Monday night, December the 29th, 2008. And we've got a lot to get to, so let's just continue with our phone callers. The lines are full right now. We're going to take some calls. You can call in the number 276-ESPN or 1-800-990-ESPN. Let's go now to line 3. Natasha from Milwaukee, you are here on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hello.
Hello.
This phone call is actually for Meathead.
Hello.
That's a first.
Yeah, I know. Hey, it's lady.
And probably one of your few lady listeners.
Oh, no, we've got more than that.
I was just curious to know, are you really off the market?
Yes, I am off the market.
Really?
Yes. And I don't know what that You Don't Bring Me Flowers song was about, Dragon. I hope you don't plan on playing that again. Yeah. No, I am off the market. So, again, as Frank said, there are going to be some women, jumping off bridges.
They're gone now. I scared them. You
Sorry for the bad news, Natasha, but thank you for calling in. Now, that's the other one that might have been interested in you.
I just want to know, what is he going to do when all those hot wrestlers come up to him?
Well, now.
Wait a minute.
She's talking about Mickey James and such.
That's right. She's a very fine woman.
We'll have to get to that next week. Thank you so much for calling in, Natasha. Let's go now, continuing along the phone lines here. Bowman from Boston, you are here live on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up, Bowman?
Couldn't be better.
I got a few points I want to bring up.
Okay. Fire away. Go.
First is to Frank. He's absolutely right. ECW killed anything special about a hardcore match or a strong style match when it was telling a story.
Here's a question for you, Bowman. As you agree with Frank in that comment, did you like it when they were ruining it?
Nope, I didn't watch
really?
ECW. I didn't. It didn't. Pile driving women just did not appeal to me.
Okay. All right. Understood.
The next thing, we kind of will lead into a couple of points here. I think, honestly, what people say the internet and such killed wrestling, I honestly think the point where wrestling kind of what got killed was around the Monday Night Wars when WCW and WWE were competing for the same fans, were trying to put out the same similar product.
Yeah.
In parallels of sort of the same thing, and you made fans choose between one or the other instead of having two different products.
But it certainly didn't kill it immediately because, remember, almost 8 to 10 million people were watching wrestling per week. Now we're lucky to get 3 on that night. So it may have had long-term impact, but short-term certainly didn't kill it. It probably made, remember, that Austin era, the Attitude era, that time in the late 90s and into the early 2000s was the most profitable for, obviously, WCW and the most successful for WWE in their entire history. So it certainly, I agree with you. It had long-term impact on the product.
Not so much as profitable. Remember, we talked over the last handful of years that WWE's profitability and their amount of money that they make is actually increasing. They're making more money, but that's where they have the most fan base, the largest fan base, if you will, the ratings and, such.
Right.
And that leads kind of into my next point. Is like, why do people have to continue to complain about, who is better, WWE, TNA, or Ring of Honor? Why can't you appreciate the fact that, and I don't remember any modern age that you have 3 different wrestling products out there offering you 3 different things to watch.
Well, here's what a lot of
we haven't had that since early 90s.
And here's what a lot of people say right now. You've got WWE still there. You've got TNA, which a lot of people are likening to WCW for various amount of reasons. And then you've got Ring of Honor, which a lot of people liken to ECW. And for lots of, depending on how you want to look at it, but a lot of ways you look at it, we are currently in the same situation we were in the mid-'90s where we have 3 wrestling companies, one sort of floundering on the edges there. You've got the number 2 company, the solid number 2 company being TNA, and then you've got WWE on top. Will TNA flip WWE anytime in the next 3 to 4 years? Not at all. It's going to take a longer time for them to do that, even if they are doing the better product. But I don't have a problem with watching all of it. But, again, I also don't think that fans should be forced to pick, as you said. But I don't think that's what's happening. Where the argument came from, too.
Watch all of it. I think if you're a true wrestling fan, you'd watch all of it.
Yeah, time is an issue at times, though. But where the argument came from was simply saying the Ring of Honor had the best wrestling, and then a lot of comparisons being made between WWE, TNA, and Ring of Honor at that point. And as we've almost beaten a dead horse here, obviously wrestling's definition is different for a lot of people.
And kind of my final point to wrap up, and for people for going into 2009, please, IWC, focus your hatred on, instead of focusing your hatred on one guy, which the inevitable guy is John Cena, you put all that energy into actually putting over the guy that you want or putting over the brand that you want.
I like that.
It might actually happen.
That's a great point. That makes a lot of sense. It's time to boo. It's time to boo Cena. Let's do it. Are you looking at your buddy next to you? We're going to boo Cena? Yeah. Why don't you cheer for the guy or boo louder for the guy that you really want to boo?
No, it just doesn't make sense to me. It just focus that energy on the brand that you want to be better or the wrestler that you want to get over. Then maybe guys like CM Punk would have had a longer and probably more profitable title reign if he actually focused on cheering for the guy and getting him over, rather than sitting there every time John Cena flashes across the screen, boom.
Yeah, good point. You're very right on that. And again, it's kind of just the internet mentality, if you will, be it wrestling, be it music, be it whatever. If instead of being just such a negative Nelly, as the kids say, put your energy into liking somebody. Because I asked that question the first time Cena got hurt. Where's your hate going to go now?
Thank you so much for that call, Bowman from Boston out on the East Coast.
Another good call.
Got a couple of phone calls here in the hopper. However, we've got a limited amount of time left, so we're going to move on to the next topic here, which is the big news coming out of the weekend. Joanie Laurer, formerly Chyna of WWE, hospitalized due to a bad mixture of prescription medication and booze, vodka specifically. She was hospitalized for additionally having cuts to several places of her body, which led a lot of internet speculation that she had attempted to commit suicide. Now, the official statement from the camp, obviously, is that she had not attempted to do so, but we've got a long history of problems.
The camp?
Yeah, her camp. You've not. Don't you watch TMZ?
She has a camp?
She's got a management team. She's got a long history of problems as well.
She deserves a management team.
Well, you bought the sex tape, didn't you?
No.
That was
sexy.
That was one of the first signs of trouble for Joanie Laurer, was the release of that sex tape that her and Sean Waltman did. She was also in rehab in 2007. That tape sold about 100,000 copies. After that, again, as I said, going into rehab, especially after an appearance on the Howard Stern show where she admitted to cocaine use, basically saying if there was a line in front of her right now, she would do it, and also saying that she did have a problem with drugs and going into rehab. Apparently that not doing so well, as she is going to be she's rumored to be entering rehab again and will be canceling all upcoming appearances. So this tragedy of Joanie Laurer continues. I mean, there's even rumors out there that she at one point got naked and got into a fish tank at a bar in New York.
I'm sure alcohol was involved in that one.
So again, a lot of speculation out there about the reasoning behind her hospitalization, whether or not she actually tried to commit suicide. What we'll deflect to is what her official group has said, which is that no, it was not a suicide attempt, and that she got the cuts from when she passed out. She fell through a mirror.
Whatever. You know what? Again, this is the same speech I'm going to give to Chyna or Joanie that I've given to like Kurt Angle. I wish I would have gave to Chris Benoit. Seriously, you need to take a step back, figure out what's going on with your life, straighten it out. That's it. Just, you know what? The whole celebrity thing that you got going on right now, let it go.
Is she a B, C, or D celebrity now?
You need to take the word celebrity off of it, and she needs to get rid of her team.
Right.
I did air quotes there.
Good. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but she does need someone to just slap her and say, get help. That's the only way. Maybe she needs to go on an episode of Intervention, one of my new favorite shows. There you go.
Keep it down over there, Dragon.
Well, it's a long, storied history of people coming out of the business and having drug problems. Now, a lot of people say, obviously, those drug problems were there when they were in the business as well, but I venture to say it's pretty lonely for a lot of people to come down from that highlight of fame and then be really looking for work afterwards. Remember, Chyna chose to leave WWE. She was not happy. She thought she could do better in movies and such. That never panned out. But we've got a long list of people who have been subject to the same type of tragedies. Also, WWE, with their wellness policy, is offering any former star, which I believe Sean Waltman took advantage of at one point perhaps, the ability to go into rehab on their dime.
And Jim Ross has mentioned it just recently this week that Chyna would be eligible for such a opportunity if she wanted to take advantage of it.
Indeed true, and a lot of talk about that going around the Internet, and that is the story as we have it. Let's talk about WWE news. Vince McMahon recently got a private screening of The Wrestler and was said to not like it. Surprise, surprise. Now, here's one interesting news bit that came out of that. Is apparently in the contract with My Network TV, he has a veto clause, does WWE, on any other wrestling advertisements. And they are potentially going to invoke that veto clause against the movie. So the movie not being able to advertise on SmackDown from WWE, or actually on the network at all, which is going to be a big problem for the movie, which will be released nationally, by the way. It's rolling out city after city currently. Just released in Chicago this past week, coming to Milwaukee January 16th, I believe. So it will be released nationally. It did do big business on 4 screens, did about $300,000 or $200,000
Again,
over the course
big
of a week.
Big talk on Mickey Rourke's performance in the movie, possibly getting some award,
Oscar or
some
a
award
Golden Globe or
recognition.
something like that.
And most people are not surprised that Vinnie Mac did not like the movie.
Well,
obviously, the movie tells the story of wrestling as it was and the tragedy that sometimes follows big wrestling stars after they leave the business.
And according to Mick Foley as well, a little bit of a kind of a bad rub from Sports Illustrated. You guys have read this, obviously, where it was rumored and it was speculated by the writer from Sports Illustrated who didn't do any homework that the BAM, what was the character's name again in the wrestler?
When we have that in TNA News, and there's actually the response from Mick Foley on the PWR website and in the wrestler page where we've got some pictures exclusively of Christopher Daniels at the premiere in New York, I believe it was. But the Sports Illustrated writer said Mick Foley was just a sad wrestling tragedy and looked like a homeless man. Obviously, Mick Foley, the man who does this, because he did it to Tony Schiavone when Schiavone called him out as the new WWE champion when he won the belt on a taped Raw. He called the reporter, had about a 40-minute conversation. The transcript of that conversation, according to Mick Foley, is available at PWRshow.com, so you could read that. But, yes, this review of the movie was not horrible at all, but it seemed to take a few jabs at Mick Foley, who was also there in attendance. Mick Foley says, as a writer covering the event, and some interesting things to read in that particular rant from Mick Foley. Ric Flair is set up to be a representative. He's got some motivational speaking engagements.
This is stuff that he's wanted. Yeah, this is
with
stuff that he's wanted for a while.
Coke and Walmart, 2 huge companies. He's also got a reality show that's being pushed around the networks, and he has been offered a major role with NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance, to work 43 dates in a commissioner-type figurehead kind of role. So lots of big things looking up for Ric Flair right now in the non-wrestling but still wrestling world.
That show, that was talked about months and months ago.
No, that show was already on CBS and already got canceled.
His reality show?
Yeah.
No,
then he was on a different show that he left for an episode.
No, this is a different reality show just based on his life. Big news out of the weekend from WWE as well, especially after that title win on SmackDown last Friday night. Maurice was injured at a North Carolina house show. In North Carolina? Or North Kakalaki?
It's North Carolina to anybody that lives in North Carolina.
Had a knee injury, and the severity of that injury is unknown. So let's talk at this point, Meet a little bit about SmackDown last Friday night, where Michelle McCool gained some respect from me for that beatdown of Maria after the matchup, after losing the title.
As long as you knew it was Michelle McCool that did the beatdown and not Maurice. That's okay. That was off-air stuff that shouldn't have went on, but I felt like doing it anyway. No, Michelle McCool, she went a little heel-ish.
I loved it. It was actually well done.
And put the beat down.
She played it well.
And put
played
the beat
it
down
very
on Maria.
well.
Yeah.
It had some believability to it.
I was surprised. Actually,
we are talking about SmackDown right now, right?
Yeah.
Actually, yes.
Kazarni's going to debut this week on SmackDown.
Kazarni? Yeah, there were, 14 promos for him last Friday night?
I'm just not buying this guy already.
Too many.
You know what? Maybe he can work in the ring. Maybe he'll be entertaining. But his promos, ugh.
There must be somebody in that organization that's
he's rooted in with Edge and Christian.
Okay,
that's
they're like, give this guy a shot. He's the real
They grew
deal.
up together.
What happened to Undertaker Jr.?
Kane?
No. There was this other dark character that was coming around. What happened to this guy?
They dropped it after one promo. I even forgot the name.
Why? Because I thought this had a good look to it.
I don't know.
Could have been also some news bits from SmackDown this past Friday night. Triple H slams against Vicky were perfect, actually, in the opening promo of the night where he said she wouldn't even fit through the door as Chavo Guerrero was coming out. And then out came Vicky standing, and we got the match. But here's the thing, too. Triple H stands in the middle of the ring, and this is what I like about wrestling sometimes. Triple H stands in the middle of the ring with a dang-on sledgehammer in his hand, and he's challenging Vladimir Kozlov to come out and face him. Who's going to come out and face a man with a sledgehammer in their hand?
Exactly.
But, when Chavo comes down, I'll get rid of the sledgehammer. It's okay.
That did not make sense at all. But at least the Vicky part was kind of funny.
And then we were treated to a very good wrestling match between Shelton Benjamin and Hurricane Helms. And it didn't seem like that was going to end in a SmackDown match. Maybe it's not over, but those two delivered a very good match, and Shelton Benjamin proving why he is indeed.
Really great to see Hurricane. I mean, really, really back. I mean,
and I didn't realize this until
weeks,
Shelton said it, but he's been champ since July.
Yeah.
6 months. Now, here's one thing I noticed on SmackDown as well over the last couple of weeks. Why is everybody already in the ring? You notice they come back from commercial break, and stars like MVP.
Well, MVP should be now because it's part of his gimmick. He's losing. He's lost the entrance.
They did it with Shelton Benjamin 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
Hurricane
but
got the entrance.
It's all
that's
the editing.
Yeah,
but they do it on Raw too. I mean,
more rare than on SmackDown.
The only one of the three of Legacy that got an entrance tonight was Holly.
And Orton.
Yeah.
What's that?
And Orton got
Excuse me, not Holly. Rhodes. Cody Rhodes.
You said Holly and almost got away with it. We didn't even notice.
I said Holly. I apologize. I was thinking tag team from.
Crap.
Thank you, Krusty. But Manu was already in the ring.
God bless you.
Tim Snuka was already in the ring.
These promos we've been getting from Jeff Hardy over the last few weeks, it's just before his championship win, are bizarre but surprisingly effective.
They're perfect.
They're very effective.
They're perfect for what he's doing. You know, because a lot of times, you know, you get wrestlers or characters that start off in a makeup and then sometimes they lose their makeup or sometimes they go into something else. You know, the fact that he's kind of going into this persona. Jeff Hardy is right now, to me, believable as the top guy. I didn't say the champ. I said, but as the top guy.
Speaking of champs, we still got a couple of fan champions on the line here. Let's go to the phone lines. Take line 2. Terry from Waukesha. You are on the Pro Wrestling Report here on 540 ESPN.
Gentlemen, how's it going today?
Good. Thanks for holding.
Yeah, I'm a little bit under the weather today, but I just wanted to chime in on a couple things. I saw the Vladimir Kozlov squash match on SmackDown, and to me, Kozlov is just horrible. I don't know why they have this guy in the ring. He's probably another Vince McMahon. Oh, my God, he's big and he's huge.
No, remember who got him in? Jerry Jarrett is responsible for getting him into WWE.
I love WWE.
Yep.
Yeah, it's terrible, and I just can't buy it at all. You guys were talking about ECW. I kind of disagree with that whole thing, but maybe we can save that for another time. Other news is, guys, if you want to, there's an article out there that Jerry Jarrett actually explains why he left TNA. It's a very interesting article. I think you guys should
along with his thoughts on that. I've seen it, along with his thoughts on the six-sided ring and whether he wants to see TNA succeed or fail, and a bunch of other things as well. Remember, Jerry Jarrett got in a little trouble when he started getting involved with WWE. And at that point, quite frankly, once he left is when the company started seeing its greatest success. And I'm not saying the two might have been related, but that is indeed the fact as far as timelines go of how it happened.
But I think the one thing I want to say about ECW is you got to look at wrestling was getting kind of stale before ECW actually made it onto the scene. And if you look at guys like Sabu and the Eliminators and the Dudleys and everything else, and that kind of violent wrestling actually brought a lot of fans back to wrestling at that point. Is maybe the chair shots, the multiple chair shots, a little bit over the top. Yeah, but guys, if you've ever watched it, there's some great wrestling between Dean Malenko and Chris Benoit, between Malenko and Eddie Guerrero.
Absolutely, there's no doubt ECW
Psychosis versus Rey Mysterio. You know, all that sort of stuff was on that. I mean, they had great wrestling along with, you know, hardcore matches and the Sandman and Sabu and all of that. So, yeah, I think ECW had its time, but I don't think ECW was the broke the reality of a hardcore match. I think a lot of, you know, when the WWE actually started incorporating it on TV and Mick Foley taking 15 chair shots from The Rock. Come on, guys, let's be serious.
I quit.
Yeah.
Piped in. Well, Terry, thank you for the call here on the Pro Wrestling Report. Let's go to one more caller. We've got Anthony in, I believe, Helmar. Must be somewhere near parts unknown. Anthony, you're here live on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Hey, how you going, guys?
Hey, Anthony, where's Helmar?
It's in California.
Okay, what's up?
I kind of agree with that the world of wrestling has changed almost in every decade, but you kind of have to have that because there's needs to be change, or you're just going to go like the same crap over and over.
It's a good point. That's almost what put WWE out of business. Remember, in 1995, 1996, they were on their last leg because they kept doing the same thing they had done for years and was ignoring the threat that was WCW. They had still bringing gimmicks such as Salvatore Sincere.
Doink the Clown.
Doink the Clown. Well, Doink's a pretty old favorite. Duke the Dumpster Droese. The Goon, all that stuff was still happening in 1996, where you had this edgy, nice new program over on WCW that you can check out and get something distinctly different from WWE. You are exactly right. The wrestling business has and will continue to evolve just about every 10 years or so, because 70s wrestling is a lot different from 60s wrestling, 80s a lot different from 90s, and it's going to continue to do so. I think it must do so to remain viable.
And the internet comment, yes, the internet has somewhat screwed over the wrestling, but it also helped it because back then when ECW just started, they didn't have really a network-known television show, so it was internet and people trading tapes that really got it out. Same thing with Ring of Honor.
Yeah, and that's exactly what's happening with Ring of Honor now. They're just trading DVDs now, or they're going on the internet and downloading the the pay-per-views. So,
good point, Anthony. Thank you so much for that call. More insightful conversation. We've got more coming up, including our best of 2008, our best star from WWE and TNA in 2008, also our best moment of 2008. When we come back right here on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Get in the ring Monday nights after Raw. It's the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Oh Say Can You Sing is down to 2. Join Homer and our 2 finalists on Friday, January 2nd at Fanatics Sports Central. Maria Waldkirch and Lucy Walker will perform at Fanatics in the Old Third Ward. We encourage you to call, text, or stop by to cast your votes. Votes will be double if you cast them in person. For more information, log on to ESPNMilwaukee.com. The Oh Say Can You Sing contest is brought to you by Marquette Men's Basketball, Fanatics Sports Central, Shepherd Express, MilwaukeeMoms.com, and Milwaukee Sporting Goods.
The D-List, weekdays after Mike and Mike.
We're talking to Tom Hardcourt. Mark Adanasio tells Bloomberg News that it might be time for a salary cap. To me, baseball doesn't need one. Let the Yankees spin. They haven't won for 7 or 8 years.
That's a very good point. The Yankees are the only team that are violating this thing. The Yankees consider it the price of doing business. They'll do a $200 million payroll and do an $80 to $100 million revenue sharing tab, and then do a $30 million luxury tax tab, and so they just consider $330 or so to field their team. So they're saying this is the system you guys invented. We're playing by the rules. We're paying the tax. We're forfeiting the money. They subsidize a lot of teams.
Well, I mentioned that to Dan off the air. The Brewers still get revenue sharing money.
A lot.
Without it, they wouldn't have been able to sign CeCe.
Yeah, they don't make it public, but it's my understanding they got close to $30 million last year. And this is a team that started with an $80 million payroll.
The D-List with Drew Olson and Dan Needles. Mornings beginning at 9 on 540 ESPN.
Racers Against Childhood Cancer and 540 ESPN need your help to make a difference this new year. Participate in the 4th annual Run into the New Year, December 31st at State Fair Park, and the Champagne Chase on January 1st, 2009 at the World Class Fitness in Heartland. Both events are open to all ages and skill levels. Awards are given to top finishers, and as an added bonus, free champagne, beer, and long sleeve tees are available to participants. So live up to your resolutions this year. Get in shape, enjoy your community, and help fight childhood cancer. Visit raccfund.org for more information.
Weekdays at 2, it's the world's greatest sports talk show.
Talking with Doug Melvin, the Brewers GM. When you talk to Matt Gamble, is that as being productive parts of the ball club next year or as potential pieces in a trade?
With the lineup that we have, you probably could allow Matt Gamble to play in the big leagues and develop somewhat there. He'll have more protection around him than what J.J. Hardy had when he first came up here to the league.
As far as his defense, though?
Well, his defense is an area that he'll have to work on, continue to work on. Spring training will tell us where he should be assigned at the end of the spring or whether he has an opportunity to make a club.
My theory is Escobar short and you move Hardy to third.
Yeah, that's been discussed. We've talked about that at length here, too.
And the discussion is good? The discussion is, no way we're going to do that?
We've had discussions, but we haven't made a decision yet.
The world's greatest sports talk show with Homer. Weekdays at 2 on 540 ESPN. Listen to Jason Wilby during Homer and the D-List. Weekdays on 540 ESPN.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. Damian Nelson, the man they call Meathead, and the Cause here in the studio Monday night, December the 29th, 2008. We'll be back with you again coming up next week. Make sure you check the website, PWRshow.com, for all the updates as to when the show will be on, and get all of your late or archived episodes, rather, and iTunes by searching PWR Live in the podcast section of iTunes. Now, let's as we talk about this being the end of 2008, let's go around the room here and talk about our stars of the year. We're going to pick one superstar from each company and deem them the 2008 Star of the Year. Now, this is not to be confused with the 2007 PWR Honors Wrestler of the Year. Or 2008. 2007 was who?
John Cena, as voted on by you, the people.
2008 being Edge. Not to be confused with that, where you voted on, but this is who we see as the Star of the Year. And we're going to start with the Cause, Frank Cosentino. Your Star of the Year from, let's go WWE. Now, let's go TNA.
TNA.
You ready for TNA?
Star of the Year goes to Samoa Joe. They gave him the title. He had a good run, and I think he's top talent and the star in my opinion.
All right, man. They call Meathead top star of 2008 in TNA.
I don't know what the initials stand for, but
total nonstop action.
No. The man was definitely phenomenal. Andrew Joseph Styles, maybe.
Alan James.
Arr. AJ Styles, my TNA guy. Yeah.
Why so?
Because look at the stuff he did. He went from face to heel to face, and he was always in the main event.
Interesting point, and in my opinion, the 2008 Wrestler of the Year to come out of Total Non-Step Action Wrestling is just like Meathead. I'm going to go with AJ Styles. What AJ did was morph his character into one that could be more easily accepted by the current TNA fans. Because remember, AJ's been the big star in TNA, the man who turned down a WWE contract in the past. He is a man who really put himself back in the main event mix as a viable contender in the main event mix this past year. So 2008 Superstar of the Year, in my opinion, is AJ Styles. Now, not Samoa Joe, but Awesome Kong came close, by the way.
I was going to say, actually, ODB, if we were going to do a
Bam!
Kick Man.
Frank, your WWE 2008 Star of the Year.
Star of the Year, it does go, unfortunately, it's Edge. The guy he had the injury, he's come back, the angle he has with Vicky.
Frank, I am so disappointed in you.
I would say Santino, but I just can't go there.
I can, because that is my WWE. That is my WWE.
You can do it. I'm going with that.
Star of the Year.
I'm going with
that.
Because
Santino entertained me for 365 days this year.
Who are you, the Batman?
Yes. Or I'm gonna beat you up, just like I'm gonna beat Fonzie over here.
Frank, you call Edge. Meathead, you go with Santino?
Yes.
Santino Marella, Superstar of the Year.
You and I agree on two things now, don't we? Because you're picking Santino.
God, I hope not. Let me refer to my note.
No. Party.
No, actually, I'm going to give it to Chris Jericho. Much like AJ Styles in TNA.
Jerk of the Year.
Chris Jericho, Jerk of the Year, Wrestler of the Year, whatever you want to call him. Chris Jericho is a man who, again, morphed his character, going from floundering in the face ranks to being pretty much one of the top heels, if not the top heel, on WWE Raw. Chris Jericho, in my opinion, the 2008 WWE Superstar of the Year. So now, as we said before, our moment of the year, and we'll start again with Frank. Your 2008 moment of the year.
That's going to be Ric Flair's retirement.
Best moment.
Best moment. It was a sad moment, but the best moment for me, just longevity in the wrestling business.
Meathead.
I'm going to go with a personal moment. It was being at Bound for Glory in the Chicago area and watching a night's worth of amazing matches.
And for me, it is going to be just like the Cos said. It is the retirement of Ric Flair, the weekend done so well, a send-off to a legend that was legendary. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. So many thanks go out to all of our callers who joined us live on air tonight. We want to continue to engage you at PWRshow.com. Make sure you hop over to the website and check it out, and also our daily video updates at PWRshow.com. For the man they call Meathead and the Cos, Damian Nelson signing off for the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.